All right, there we go. We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris. This is my channel, We Love Comics. I wanted to start a little bit earlier because I got things done, and I wanted to make sure people didn't have to wait longer than they had to. And I hope you guys are enjoying your day. And if you've never seen this before, I send in each month 4 comics of mine to be graded, and I drop things all over the place in the process. But I do a deal. I have a deal with PGX. And I don't get paid or anything, and some people said, well, if you're getting books graded, it's like getting paid, but no, because I do not have any contracts. I am not obligated to only say nice things, and they have no problem with me speaking my mind as long as I'm being honest, and my subscribers always appreciate that. So I did try with CGC and CBCS, and to this date, after 2 years, they have never responded, so I'm pretty much assuming they're not going to do the same deal. So every month I send in 4 of my comics to get graded. They will do pressings, which I highly recommend, and dry cleaning, same thing. I recommend it if you're going to get your books graded with any company. Doesn't matter, because if your book can be improved by even from a 1 to a 1.5, sometimes that could be hundreds of dollars of difference. So I highly recommend, for the price that you will pay for them, to get those pressed and dry cleaned no matter who you use. Now, I have another 4 books that should be coming back in the next 2 weeks or so. Of course, with the situation that's going on, everybody's aware of. I won't mention it because they'll restrict your video if, heaven forbid, you say anything. So there is a delay on those, which is to be expected, but PGX is still open. I have a deal for my subscribers. Just check in the description that if you send in 10 books or more to PGX to get graded, you can get one of them pressed for free by using the code We Love Comics Free Press. Make sure you add that and mention that you're coming from my channel. Don't forget also to sign up for the cashback program. If you spend $25 or more within the first 90 days, you get a $10 cashback bonus. It is free to sign up. Check for restrictions. So before I put on the camera, let me say hello to some of the people that are here. And don't forget to wait until the end so we can see who's today's surprise subscriber shout out. You don't have to be a subscriber, but hopefully you will. John is here. Roll is here. Florence, one of my longtime power viewers and moderators, welcome. Comic Mags, good to see you again. Manny the Comic Collector, a lot of repeat people. I appreciate that. ICT Vinny, Giuseppe is here. Back Issue Bin. Gazinho 10442, I'm sure I butchered that. Watching in a sunny back garden, that's always nice. Jeshua, Paul, Lewis, Jamie, and many more. Stick around for the surprise subscriber shout out if you want something, if you want the shout out. And let's put on the video camera so you can see the books that I am sending to PGX to get graded. And there we go. And as you can see, I got a lot of books. I'm going to be doing some comic hauls and stuff like that. Sorry I haven't been making that many videos. Being out of work for now almost 3 months and no assistance from this wonderful government. I've been not in the best moods. I'm sure people can understand. I mean, it happens to everybody. But as you could see, there's no holy grails in there. But there are some key issues, so I will be doing some unboxings and some comic hauls. So just to show you, I got a lot of comics that I need to unbox. So I got videos up the yin-yang for you guys coming, but sorry for the delay in videos. Alright, so here are the 4 books. I will tell you what they are, any significance of them, which of course the ones I send in always have significance. I'll tell you the price I paid, the grade I predicted, and while you're in the live stream, if you want to make your predictions of what you think the grade might be, you're more than welcome to. And then in about a month and a half, I'll get them back and do videos of the results, and we learn together live what the grades are, because I don't know and I don't want to know until I open them. So without further yabba dabba doo, let's get in to the 4 comics. So I always start with the least best and then go up from there. So this is a book I highly recommend getting. This is still fairly affordable. I mean, it's not going to be in the dollar bin, and if you find it, grab it. But this is a book that has so much potential, it's not even funny. So get this book while you can, because if you think it's pricey now, wait until certain movies come out. So I have, this is either my 2nd or 3rd copy of this book. I think this is my 3rd copy, but this is Fantastic Four number 6. Now, there isn't any major significance other... Well, there kind of is. But it's the second Silver Age appearance of Submariner, which we now know Marvel owns the rights to. I've been telling people that for a long time. Jesper says, can I promote my channel? If you do it once, yes, I don't want it spamming. But if you want to do one-time promoting, you could put it in the description. I'm sorry, in the comment section. So you're more than welcome to. But this is the second Silver Age appearance of Submariner, second appearance of Doctor Doom, and the first Marvel villain team-up. So this is definitely a book I highly recommend. Now, this one has a rip from here, jaggedy, all the way to here. So that is going to make this a lower grade book because of that. There is a tiny piece missing in the corner. See right there? But this is definitely a book I highly recommend getting. It could benefit from a pressing because there is a little indent along the spine. A lot of times that's because people lay them flat and they compress books, or they put them in the long boxes and they put too many of them in and they get crammed. And because this side with the staple is a little thicker, it's going to leave that indent. So it will improve by a pressing, but that tear is definitely going to make this a lower grade. But as I always say, low grade is better than no grade, and this book will continue to go up. Because first of all, when you see the Fantastic Four being announced, that's going to make all Fantastic Four books more desirable. Then, if you see the Submariner, this book is going to rise because of that. Then when you see Doctor Doom, this book is going to rise again. So you have potentially 3 different times where this book will go up in price, in my opinion. Now, obviously, nothing is guaranteed, but if you're a betting man, the odds are in favor to get this book. So I paid, this is the highest I paid for this book, but still worth it. I paid $254.95. I am going to predict this is about a 2.5 to a 3.5 range. Now, when I make my grades, I base it on the fact that I am going to be getting them pressed and dry cleaned. So I'm trying to make it with that in mind when I do the grade. So it may seem a little bit lower before a pressing because of the indent, but I know the pressing is going to get that out. Now, obviously, pressing doesn't get everything. It cannot do anything about the rips, color breaks, tears, color breaking creases, for example. But along the spine with the indent, that's definitely going to improve it. So I'm going to say about a 2.5 to 3.5 off-white pages. Definitely a book to get. Now, one of the things I recommend you do, and I say this all the time on these videos, no matter who you send them to, don't assume that they might not mess things up and maybe misplace your slip, describing what you're sending. Right on the back of the book, put a couple of pieces of tape. Write your name, your email address, your phone number, and your home address. Put it on all the books you send. So this way, if they misplace one or they, mix up the invoices and things like that, they can look on the back of the book and know it's yours. And the reason I did that is one time I actually forgot to include the invoice, and they didn't know whose it was. Now, PGX did the right thing because it was about 3 months, and after that they could have just taken them and kept them. But I called them and let them know about it, and they had them. They just didn't know whose they were. So on the back of every book, and I will be doing that, obviously. I didn't want to put that now and show my personal information. But write them on the books. It will help you. Alright, this is a book. If you are one of my power viewers, you probably saw this because this was the last video I did the other day. If you haven't seen it, well, I guess I'm saving you the trouble of having to do it right now. This book is a 0.5. I know that, but I'm getting this one preserved because I don't want anything happening to it. It's a personal grail for me. And like I say, low grade is better than no grade. One day I will upgrade, but right now I was able to get a 0.5. of Tales to Astonish, number 27. This, of course, is the first appearance of Hank Pym / Ant-Man. Love this book. I've been wanting this book for years. Very pricey book. Again, this is a 0.5. The front cover is detached. There is no back cover. So even if this was perfect, the fact that it does not have the whole back cover would make this a 0.5. I don't care, because there's going to be an Ant-Man 3, and they're saying, it's going to be very significant, maybe introducing some of the new either X-Men or Fantastic Four people. We don't know. It's all rumors at this point. But this book is one of those books that will continue to go up. Right now, because there's what's going on in the world and, gap between the movies, people have out of sight, out of mind. That's when prices start going down a little bit, or people may not have as much money to spend, which I know now is, I'm in that boat now. But I got this for $615, which is about what the going rate is for a 0.5. But sometimes when you have key issues like this, I'm not afraid to pay at least the going rate, because if you look on eBay, the closest thing I saw was a 0.5 that was restored, and they sold it for $1,299. So I've been looking for that book for a while. Like, I haven't been searching for it, but when I see it come up, I always see it higher than what, like, for example, GoCollect.com says it's worth. So I'm very happy with that. So I paid $615, and of course that includes shipping and handling. It is a 0.5, so there's no guessing on that one, and it's creamed off-white pages. That's one of the many reasons why you should get your books slabbed, is books like this, especially when they're fragile. You might have one where the staples are barely hanging on, for example. Putting them and encapsulating them can protect them. Now, obviously, this isn't a book I want to read and ruin the book. There's always, reprints and things like that. So those that get mad that say, oh, well, comic book videos like this and many others ruin it for the industry because it makes the comics prices higher and then I can't get the books I love. Well, if you can't afford this book, you can get a coverless one. That's going to be a lot cheaper. You can get the reprint. There's many places online that you could read them. So there's always ways. Some people just, they'll be angry no matter what. All right, next up, another low grade. This is actually my third copy of this book. The first one I have is a 2.0. It ended up being restored, which I wasn't told about when I bought it from the other person. The other book is probably going to be a 0.5 to a 1.0 at best. And this is going to be my highest unrestored, which isn't saying much, but as I'll keep saying, low grade is better than no grade. This is another book I got recently, so if you're a Ultra Power viewer or a Power viewer, this is a book you saw recently. This is, of course, Avengers #1. Now, as you could see in the word Avengers, somebody traced it with pen. They were nice enough to give Thor a beard, and they cut out that's not the Incredible Hulk on the cover, that's the Incredible Hulk on the first page. So they cut out the Incredible Hulk on the page, and on the first page when you see Loki, they drew in a mustache. So that will, of course, lower the grade. Now, this isn't going to make it a 0.5, because you would have to have at least 3/4 of the book or more on the front, or all of the back for it to be a 0.5. So there is a cutout, but it doesn't affect the story at all, so that won't give it a qualified grade. But yeah, Dustin says Thor's mighty beard. So this book, I paid only $675. I'm very happy with that. There are going to be many more Avengers movies, so this is not done, and this is definitely a key book to get. Again, while we're having this big gap between movies, comics like this, they kind of don't get the love they deserve, and the price goes down a little bit. And again, with this situation that we, knock on wood, hopefully we'll never see again, has affected people's ability to make purchases. But I've been looking on eBay, even when I'm not purchasing anything, there's a lot of people spending money. So there are people that will see that what could be a problem for somebody could be success story for someone else. Where you want to fall in line in that's up to you. I will never be a victim, regardless, and I hope you won't either. So there is also some scribble lines you could see right there. There's a little bit of pen scribble right there. So I'm going to say this is about a 1.5 to maybe a 2.0. It could hit a 2.5. I'm not sure, because the rest of the book looks pretty darn good. I mean, there's some color break increases, so you could see one right there. There's a little bit of chipping and a little bit of tear right there. But of course, in those lower grades, those are perfectly acceptable. Now, the staples are intact, but they are kind of loose. There are some color breaks, as you could see along the spine, so there's nothing you could do about that. Now, with my name and everything, I wrote here, handle with care. Because remember, somebody else is going to not treat your book the way you would treat it. So don't assume, first of all, they're going to care, or know there might be, for example, a staple barely hanging on. if they tap it and everything, or they yank it out, they can end up ripping the staple off, and you're the one that's going to get punished for it because they're not going to take responsibility, any of the companies, most likely. So if there's something like staples detached or staple barely hanging on, you know, handle with care, it will go a long way. Alright, so before I do it, let me one more time post the link for the cashback program. It is free to sign up. If you click on the link and you sign up and you spend $25 or more within the first 90 days, you get the $10 additional cash back. And I also get a one-time referral fee, so it helps me, especially with being 2.5 months out of work and not having really much income coming in. And don't see anything really in sight because the flea market, I'm still waiting for it to open. They haven't opened it yet, and it doesn't look like they're going to for a while. And I could pretty much say goodbye to my karaoke for a little while because who's going to want to touch microphones? But if anything, that you guys can help. All right, so last but not least, this is another one that was an absolute, I can't say steal, but this book has so much potential. It is going to continue to go up. It is a pricey book, but I show constantly that deals are out there. This is probably my 5th or 6th copy of this book, and it only has up to go. And I got this from all the way from Australia. This is not some kind of Australian or any other variant. This is a U.S. comic. And we have, for the last book that I'm sending in, Amazing Spider-Man number 14, which of course is the first appearance of Green Goblin and his wonderful flying vacuum. After I made the deal with the seller from Australia, I asked for a couple of $100 off. They actually approved it. They had the pricing in Australian dollars, and at the time I bought this, the dollar against the Australian dollar was at its highest point. So I got such a discount off of this based on the difference between the US dollar and the Australian dollar. And I also had a credit card where I had points. It was the eBay credit card. And I had points that were basically accumulated. And I got almost $400 off of what I paid for it already. So this book is about a 4.5 to a 5.5. It could potentially hit a 6.0 after pressing, but I don't want to put it that high. I'd rather be wrong lower than wrong higher. But this book is in pretty darn good condition. Again, it has a little bit of an indent along the spine. It does not break color, so that will increase the grade. There are some minor color breaks along the edge, but they do not go very far. Rounded corners, but not majorly. But as you could see, this book is intact and looks really darn good. I only paid after shipping and handling. Now keep in mind, this is from Australia to Florida. I paid $603.80 for this book. This, at a 4.5, would be about a $1,000 book, if not higher. And we know eventually the Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, they'll probably start with Norman Osborn first, and then eventually you'll see the Green Goblin. But with the deals that Sony and Marvel have made, Spider-Man's there to stay for a long, long time. So this is definitely a book to get. So I predict about a 4.5 to a 5.5, potentially even a 6, but like I said, I don't want to go that high. Paid $603.80 after shipping and handling and all the discounts I got. Off-white pages. So that is definitely a book. It's going to be expensive, even in low grade, but this book has not seen its peak yet. And the idea is you want to buy books on the rise, not the books that have already hit and will start to fall. Wait for those to fall, and then you can get them at discounted prices. So really quick, Tony Trombetta says, Chris, what do you think about Nova number 1? I was telling people to get Nova number 1 years ago. It's definitely a book to get, but it is getting pricey. I was telling people in about 2017 to be buying that book. I was spending about $20 to $30 for that book. Probably middle grade. I have, I think, a 9.2 of it that I bought for maybe $70 or under. I don't remember. I'll have to look. But it's definitely a book to get, but it always depends on price. And the same thing with Giuseppe. Says, hey, Chris, what do you think about Avengers number 10? First appearance of Immortus, $100. It depends on the condition. It depends on if you like the book. Because here's my advice. If you buy a book solely for the fact that it might bring you profit based on speculation, and you don't like the book and you might have overpaid or whatever, if that situation or movie or part does not happen, and you have a book that you spent all this money on that's now going to go down in value or never rise to the potential, you're not going to be happy. And that's why, like, for example, and I was telling people a couple years ago, right before Endgame came out, everybody was trying to get Thor 390, where the first time where Captain America lifted Thor's hammer. And I was telling people, do not buy that book, because that is a moment that is only going to happen in that movie and will never happen again. And if it does, it's probably 50 years from now when they reboot it. Or these days, that might be 5 years from now when they reboot it. But the point is, that situation isn't going to have the same effect anymore. And people were spending up to $100 to $200 for that book. And now, good luck selling it for $30. So I always say, take your time. Make and ask for deals. Do your research. Don't be afraid to take chances, but don't overpay. And love what you buy. Because like I said, I love these books. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of people that probably would not have bought this book, because there's the cutout and the Thor's beard. And this book, because it does not have the back cover. Well, you know what? Even though it doesn't have the back cover and it's going to be a 0.5, I own the first appearance of Ant-Man, and I paid a pretty decent price for it. So those are the 4 books. You just saw the other one. So we got Fantastic Four number 6. That is the second Silver Age appearance of Submariner, second Doctor Doom, first Marvel villain team-up. Absolutely recommend that book. Tales of the Astonish number 27. Does not have a back cover, so this will be a 0.5, but first appearance of Ant-Man. Avengers number 1. Got a cutout and some writing. Some kid decided to do some scribbling along the way. And last but not least, Amazing Spider-Man number 14. Like I said, this is probably my 6th or 7th copy. I tell people all the time, get duplicates, especially of key books, because I have 3 of the Avengers number 1. I have 2 or 3 of this book. I wish I had multiple copies of this, but I just got this for the first time. But when you have multiple copies, you can do trades and trade up for something else that you want. Because depending on what you paid for it, let's say you got 5 Hulk 181s, which I think I have 5 or 6 of Hulk 181s. Now, I didn't pay the price I'm about to say, but let's say you bought them years ago and you paid about between $100 and $200 a piece. So let's say you spent $200 a piece for all 5 books. That's $1,000. Now, let's just say in another year or 2 they announce Wolverine finally officially in the MCU, and let's say those books are now $5,000 a piece. Well, you spent $1,000 and you have $25,000 worth of comics. Now, let's say you wanted a Action Comics number 1 in a 0.5, and somebody happened to be selling it for $25,000, and you said, hey, I got 5 Hulk 181s, which are worth about the same. Would you do the trade? Well, you only spent $1,000 on those books, and let's assume that person did the trade. Now you have a $25,000 book that you spent $1,000 on. So it's not always about money. And Dustin asked, Chris, do you display your collection? I really don't, because I'm in Florida, and with the sun, you don't want to expose any of your comics to sunlight. So I don't put them up on the walls and things like that, because they will fade, and then you're ruining the condition of the book, and you're also ruining the value. So I keep them all in boxes and everything, and, you know, when I'm in the mood, I'll take the boxes out, and I'll show some of the books. Like, I'll show you 3 of my most favorite books that I own. So you're about to see a little bonus for those power viewers that stuck around. So if you're one of my Ultra Power viewers, don't do this in the live chat, because, I mean, that makes no sense. But if you're watching this from the beginning, in the comment section, I want you to post the 3 books I'm about to show you that I love to look at. So, first is one I got regraded because I knew when I bought it, pressing would help it, because there was a little bit of an indent when I bought this already graded. And that's why it's good sometimes to buy graded books and take a look at them, because you never know. Somebody may not have pressed it, and you could end up getting an increased value. So this is my Hulk 181 at an 8.5. I only paid $1,567 for this book. Currently, this is about a $4,000 book. And, of course, that's going to continue to go up, because we all know It's just a matter of time before Wolverine gets in the MCU. Next up, this is a book I bought. I had my original We Love Comics channel that I shut down because of me worrying too much about haters and haters having a field day trying to ruin my channel, and I let it happen, so I blame it on me, not on them. But this was a book I bought probably about 2 weeks after I shut down the channel. Never really got to show it, but you've seen it if you watch my channel. This is another book I might crack open and get pressed because it has an indent along the spine, and that could end up increasing the grade. But this is my X-Men #1. I wish I had multiple copies of this, but I don't. But it's a 3.0. I bought this, again, it does have a crack in the case, but that's why I got the price I paid. I only paid $2,000, $2,062.69. Again, this is roughly about a $4,500 book, and X-Men is going to be in the MCU, so that is going to increase that even more. And then my creme de la creme, love this book. I actually have 2 copies. My other copy is a coverless 0.5 restored, but I only paid like about $480 for it, which to me is a steal, an absolutely ridiculous price I paid for it, because a regular 0.5 is about $2,800. So this, again, well, when you see it, you'll see. So, my Fantastic Four #1, first appearance of the Fantastic Four, signed by Stan Lee. It's on the inside cover, because that was back in the days. Somebody probably got this signed a long time ago, and back in those days, and I've had this done back in the 90s, so it wasn't too long ago, they wouldn't sign the front cover. They would actually open it up, especially old school people like Jack Kirby and all of them. They would sign their name in pen on the bottom of the first page. So that's where the Stan Lee signature is. It has off-white to white pages. There is some glue along the edge. I'm really thinking about maybe one day maybe opening it up and separating it, but I probably won't touch it. But a 2.5, I paid $5,000 for this book. As of now, this is about a $7,500 book, and we know what's going to happen with the Fantastic Four once they hit the MCU. So those are books I bought years ago. The Fantastic Four I bought last year in February when I was selling my comic book mystery boxes, which, by the way, I'm still selling. So if you check the link in the description of my video, I'm still selling my mystery boxes. They're anywhere from a $100 mystery box up to a $5,000 mystery box. Obviously, the $5,000 ones, you're going to get nothing but key issue books. So if you're interested in any of the mystery boxes, go check out my website. Just scroll down to the bottom. So those are the books. You got a little bonus. So in the comment section, not the live chat, post the 3 books that I got. And that's basically it. So I'm going to be mailing those out today. I got to box them up. Just remember, if you use PGX, which you don't have to, make sure if you send in 10 or more, use the code We Love Comics Free Press, and you can get one of them pressed for free. So those are the books. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Hopefully you appreciated this longer version of this video. Give me a couple of days. I'll make another video because, like I said, being out of work for almost 3 months and not getting any help, I've been sitting in this house for the longest time. I'm surprised it hasn't driven me crazy, but, you know, it affects your mood a little bit. Things are starting to open up a little bit, so I'm probably going to go swimming a little bit later. They finally opened the pool midweek. How nice of them. Not this weekend, which kind of sucked, but it is what it is. So I'm rambling at this point. Leave your comments, hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe, share it if you're kind enough. Share that link also, because it will help me, because like I said, if somebody clicks on it and spends the $25 or more, I get a one-time referral fee. So it's income that's helping me during these times, and it doesn't cost you anything. So ICT Vinny says good luck on the grades. Thank you for that. Let's do today's surprise subscriber shout out. So if you want one, you don't have to hit subscribe, but you do have to be in the live chat for that to happen. We are going to give it to, let's see. We're going to go with Gazenho 10442. I'm sure I screwed that name up. So Gazenho 10442, you are today's surprise subscriber shout out. So give our shout out a shout out in the comment section. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit your belly button, but don't hit your friends because that's not nice. I haven't said that in a while. And do not forget, it's not you, it is not I, it's We Love Comics. I'll see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your day, and peace.